So a few videos back, I made this circle cutting jig for my table saw. And in the comments of that video, quite a few people mentioned that it can easily be done on the bandsaw as well, with less mess, and that sounds appealing to me. So I'm going to incorporate this idea on the bandsaw. I think I've come up with a good plan for that, and let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of hard maple that will fit the track on my bandsaw. So the track on my bandsaw it's about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch off of this board on the heavy side, and then I'm going to creep up to it until it fits. It's nice and snug, and it glides through there smoothly. So now I just have to trim it down so that it's below the surface here. So now that I have this runner cut just below the surface and it fits there nicely, glides through it with no friction and there's no play in it, I'm going to use this piece of Baltic birch plywood that's a 1/2 inch thick for the top of it. And I think I'm going to leave it this long so that it gives the material lots of support. And I can probably use a clamp back there to help hold it. So let's make a measurement or a mark here, maybe just roughly where the runner should go, and we'll glue it and screw that on. Well, this is going to be the underside of my jig since it's the ugly side. And to glue the runner down, I'm going to use Starbond's gap filler. It's their thick, high performance premium CA glue. That's really hard to pronounce. I'm going to use their accelerator to help speed up the dry time of this glue. So I'm just going to put my square on there so I can get it somewhat straight. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. Doesn't need much. And we'll put some accelerator on there. Keep that lined up. It says on the bottle to hold it for about 10 to 20 seconds, so I think 15 seconds should do. Also, before I forget, if you want to get some of this Starbond glue for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description, and use the coupon code WEST10 at checkout and you can get 10% off of your purchase. And to make sure that this runner will never come off, I am going to add 4 screws to it. Next, I need to glue a piece of wood here as a stop so that I can't slide it too far forward on the bandsaw. I'm going to cut the stop piece, also from 1/2 inch Baltic birch plywood, and I'm going to make it 1 inch wide. And I don't know how long this piece is. By 12.5 inches, that piece doesn't really matter. It just needs a stop. Okay, let's glue this on. So I'm just going to use Starbond's glue again just to hold this on until I can get some screws in there. And a couple of shots of the accelerator. And so now we have to make a cut into this board until I hit my stop. So let's do that. So now that I know where my saw blade is, I can hook my tape measure in there and I can start marking out my dowel pin locations. So I'm gonna do 2 inches, 3 inches. And so if it's 2 inches, that's gonna be 4 inches. I'll go back later, like I did with my other jig, with a pen and mark out the actual diameter of the holes. Let's try to get more tape measure here. So I'm gonna do 2 inches, 3 inches, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then I'm just going to use my sliding square to mark out how far down. Just like my table saw jig, I'm going to drill a 5/16 hole for a 5/16 dowel. Now I'm just going to sand it to get rid of all the fuzzy edges from the drilling and to erase my pencil marks. So I've chucked a dowel into my drill, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish every single hole just to kind of smooth it out and make it a little bit easier to pull the dowels in and out. Next, I'm going to mark out the holes so I know what size of circles they'll make. So for the dowel pin, I'm going to use a 5/16 fluted dowel, and I'm going to cut it down so that it's not too long. And like the table saw jig that I made, I am just going to make it probably about 1/4 inch to 3/8 proud. I'm just going to use a little bit of sandpaper to round over the edges and make it a little bit, give it kind of a tapered edge on it so it makes it easier to pull in and out. Now your jig is done. So now let's go to the table saw, and we're going to cut a piece of wood to make a disc. I'm going to make a 12-inch disc. So I have my pin set to the 12-inch hole, and I'm going to make my board probably 12.5 inches so that I have something to cut off. So I didn't film myself making this circle blank and how to find the center, because I went into detail in my last video on how to make the table saw circle jig. So I'll leave a link in the description to that video if you want to know how to do this. All right, let's put this to the test and see if my idea works. So we just have to line it up on that hole. Go, and it spins. So, well, we'll turn it on and we'll give it a whirl. Literally, a whirl. Well, there you have it, a quick and easy jig to cut circles out on your bandsaw. Now this jig that I made, it'll cut circles from 4 inches in diameter all the way up to 30-inch in diameter. So that gives you a wide range of circles that you can make. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss when I upload a new video, and like always, we'll see you in the next one.